and welcome back, Rio Grande Guardian viewers. Great to see you again. I'm so pleased today to introduce my very special guest, Rene Alcala, who is a commercial real estate broker here in the Rio Grande Valley. We're going to learn all about Rene's upbringing. I'm going to make sure he talks about that. We're going to talk about his work today and his analysis of the state of real estate at the moment. So, Rene, great to see you again.
Likewise, Steve. It's always great to see you, talk to you, and be in your presence.
Yeah. So where do we start? Let's start right where we are right now. Okay. The company you work with, for, and what you do.
So I work with BlackRock Commercial Real Estate. It's a company that was started by a friend of mine, Adrian Ramirez. When I was looking to go out on my own, he invited me to join the company and partner up and do commercial real estate, which is something that I've come to learn, love, and be passionate about. And he said, let's open up the office in the Rio Grande Valley. You know, he's operating in Houston, and let's go for it. It made a lot of sense to do it. He has a lot of knowledge. My previous employment gave me a lot of knowledge also with the Killam family on the commercial real estate side. And I said, it's the perfect way to continue doing what I'd like to do. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been very interesting to go out on my own for the first time after being used to my entire professional career, being on a salary, going to a commission-based job. But it's something that I've always wanted to pursue and do. I just never felt like I was ready to go out on my own and do it.
The easiest way to describe it, I've always thought, is there's no safety net.
Not at all. No, not at all. And everyone tells you, you know what, you get into the cold water, jump into it. Eventually it's going to get warm. But I'm still moving in the cold water. and other people tell me it's going to be cold forever. You know, you're just, but I've come to learn and also, it sounds like a cliche, but being uncomfortable means that you're doing the right thing and you're going through where you're supposed to go, because if everyone felt comfortable, everyone would be doing it, right? So
stay in bed longer, wouldn't you?
Stay in bed longer, yeah, exactly. And actually, I mentioned this in the past. One of my dad's friends, who was a businessman in Mexico, Monterrey, who's passed, Carlos Bremer, he mentioned something in an interview. He was on Shark Tank Mexico. He was one of the judges, and he said, if you're starting your own business, you need to put it in your head that you're going to fail. If you're starting your business and you're not having that idea that you're going to fail, don't start your business.
So how long have you been working with BlackRock?
7 months, 6-7 months. Yeah, time's flown. But it's been a lot of fun. It's, analyzing deals is something I love doing. Just earlier, before this morning, before coming over here, I met with a client of mine. He has a retail project off the expressway that he's going to be building, and I was driving the expressway back and forth 4 times, looking at things around, trying to get ideas of what we could do there in that shopping center, retail center, who we're going to go after. Those things I just love doing, So
I promise we're going to come back and see you in a few years and see you at that much higher level.
I appreciate it. Well, I hope it doesn't. We don't wait too long, because it's always good to come back and talk to you.
So what's the state of the commercial real estate market right now in the Valley?
I think the Valley's always been in a different position than anywhere else in the state or in the country because of our proximity to Mexico, right? Not only the commercial real estate, but the housing markets too. We always have the Mexican shopper influence. They come in when interest rates are high. Maybe back in 2010, the housing market was in trouble in the U.S. Interest rates were high, but there was issues on the Mexican side where they were wanting to move over here. They had cash. They were buying homes cash. So you really never saw the market go red. It would stay, maybe not green, but it would stay black, right? It would, same thing with the commercial real estate side. I do have to say last year was rough overall. And I've talked to some colleagues. They said, yeah, last year was kind of rough. But come October, November of last year, you started seeing the phone ring a little more. You saw more activity, and now January till today, March, it's been a lot more active. People are looking at what to invest. There's more confidence in the markets, and especially going back to the Mexican shopper. The Mexican shoppers are wanting to diversify. They used to focus only on multifamilies, residential, but I think now they're a little bit curious on, let's maybe do some retail centers, or let's probably do some small industrial. Let's look at what we can do. So it's definitely been active, and I expect it to continue that way for a couple of years.
Is the Rio Grande Valley benefiting yet from the nearshoring phenomenon?
I think it is, not to the extent that people thought it would by now. Obviously, there's been some, political changes both in Mexico and in the U.S. There are talks of tariffs are kind of hindering that plan. It's just a gray area right now. People don't know, what's happening, and that's also affecting a little bit on the commercial real estate side. I had a deal that just went sour because of that, because they said, the tariffs went into place, and one of my investors said, no, we're out. So you do see that, but at the end of the day, it's governments last a certain period of time, and we're always going to be here.
But it always, to me, like we were chatting earlier, both of us, in a way, are outsiders. It just always seems to me that when the Valley, it's got so much going for it, and then someone moves the goalposts in our soccer lingo, and we just don't get ahead again. Something happens to our region.
I think that also has to do with, and as someone who is from the Valley, just like you, you are originally from Britain, but you've been here for a while, so you're already a Valleyite, 100%. We consider you that. It also has to do with, I don't think we've ever really identified who we are in the Valley as a region, ourselves as the citizens.
I've heard you say that from the platform, from the stage.
Yeah, and I think it's very important to say, what do we do? Are we focused on the retail? Are we focused on industrial? Are we focused on manufacturing? I'm not saying we have to say. I'm not saying we have to grab one of the flags and let the others die. But I'm just saying, what do our citizens want to do? We hear people want to stay in the Valley, but they end up leaving to San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, other places. Why? Are we listening to them? Are we giving them what they want so that they don't leave? So that's what I mean by saying, who are we? We don't really know who we are at the moment, but I think we're getting there. I think we're working towards finding that out. And, we need to embrace that, and then that way, if there's political changes, there's political influences from DC or Austin, we say, no, look, this is who we are. You either play ball with us instead of you always wanting us to play ball with you all, right? So, and part of that also has to do with, we need to be involved on the Mexican side of politics too. What happens over there greatly affects us over here. So that's just who we are. And one of the beauties of being from the Valley is that we have two things we need to worry about, be active about, and be vocal about. And we can't be scared to be vocal about it.
Your answer just then triggered something for me when I reported on you one time, and you had come back from a conference. You were on a panel with some economic development leaders, and you said one of the issues, one of the challenges we have in our region is we don't collate all the data. It makes it very difficult. There's pockets of data all over the place. Different cities have got it. And you're trying to attract an investor to our region and getting that data. That was a few years ago. Yeah. Have things improved?
Yes. Yes, but I think we still need to do more, right? We have a great university. We have great universities. And I think, we need to, CoStep is doing a good job of posting all that data on their website, and Adam and Rick called me, because I'm a board member of CoStep, and they called me and they said, hey, we have data. Why did you
You
say
got on that board after you made those comments. Tell me that.
Yes, well, I was on the Real South Texas Education Foundation first, and then I transferred to the COSTEP board. But they're right. They have the data. The thing is, the data doesn't always translate to the reality, because there's just, what I meant with that comment also is that there's some things that we can't track because we just can't track them, right? So there's a system that we use or that we use with when I was with my previous employer, and with some of the EDCs use it too. Some of the real estate commercial real estate brokerages use it. I'm trying to remember the name of the software, but anyways, it gives you data on the shoppers, how much time they spend per store, and they track their cell phones. So the companies buy data from the carriers, which tells them demographics, age groups, all of that, what stores you're going to, where they go from work to where, from that store, do they go home, do they go somewhere else? The thing is, because of international law, Mexico doesn't allow other countries to buy that data, right? I think now they're working around that. But it's normal, you can't expect every country to have the same laws as
that impacts us more than anybody.
Exactly, and that's what I meant, because I think there's been some stores here that open up, and they open up with a smaller footprint because of the data. And once they open, they said, "Hey, where was this when we did our due diligence?" Thing is, we don't have that. So, I think there's ways to come together to figure out how to bring that missing piece in to show the picture, the full picture. And then also, the other thing is, how do we sell, this is not just us locally, but this is the companies, the national companies that we want to bring in. How do we tell them that this is it's not just, hey, we're wanting to open up this business in McAllen. Oh, okay, well, McAllen has 180,000. No, this is the region. We're, 1.5 million, 3 million total between US, Mexico, coming in and out on a daily basis. Yeah, but I don't know. McAllen only gives me these stats. The stats for McAllen only give me this, right? It tells me that Mission only has this.
So that's a challenge for you.
It's a challenge, because you can't really say, hey, they don't see it. They don't see it. And when I go to the trade shows like ICSC in Dallas or Vegas or Retail Live in Austin, it's cool because you start hearing people mentioning the Valley, right? You start, hey, South Texas, it's blowing up. Yeah, the Rio Grande Valley is blowing up. McAllen, Mission,
that's
Harlingen.
A good thing to hear.
It's awesome to hear that. And a lot of the national brokers say, they say, I want to go visit more because I just don't understand the Valley. I don't blame you, you need to come, see it, live it, because you'll see something completely different than what's on the numbers.
You're going to see what the statistics do not show you.
Exactly, exactly. And again, that's not a knock to any one of the EDCs, any one of the cities. No, not at all. It's just, that's the way our data is interpreted outside. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we need to be better at teaching this data, if that's the correct word, to these people that want to come over here, to these companies.
I'm going to bring an abrupt halt to that subject only because there's another aspect to your work, your career that I want to talk about. And I could have said this at the very beginning. I'm speaking here with an international commercial real estate broker. So tell us why I should say that the international component, your education, and your early career.
Yes.
So that for me is fascinating.
Yeah, it's so I grew up here in the Valley. I'm Mac High class of 2007. Elementary, middle school, high school was here in the Valley. A proud Valleyite, proud Texan, proud American, but I'm also very proud Mexican. I was born in Monterrey, grew up here. And then when I went to college, I was accepted to UT, UTSA, St. Mary's, St. Edwards, the usual suspects here in Texas. I knew I wanted to major in international relations. I didn't tell you this earlier, but it was international relations with political communication is what I wanted to do. And I ended up going to Tec de Monterrey and doing international relations there. And that was 2007, 2009, 2010. I ended up transferring to Mexico City, to the campus in Mexico City, because I was invited to do my internship with the president of Mexico at the time, Felipe Calderon, in the president's office, having to do with the press pool. So my job as an intern was press pool agendas and all that. So I was working with the press pool in Los Pinos in President Calderon's office. And I knew I wanted to be working in government in some type of capacity. I did that for 6 months and then graduated tech. I was invited to work at the National Banking and Securities Commission of Mexico in la Secretaría de Hacienda y Crédito Público. I was there for about a year, and then I was invited. They asked me. They said, "Hey, you grew up in Texas. The ProMexico office in Dallas needs we're hiring someone to be the number 2 there. Would you like it?" I said, "Yeah, I would." I always knew that I wanted to major in international relations and have to do something with Texas-Mexico relations.
As an outsider, again, just observing that program, that organization, it just seems so positive, so good for Mexico, and yet it gets dissolved. I mean, that was from my perspective, that group was doing a great work.
My answer to that is usually don't get me started, but we are talking about this. So no, I completely agree. I think it was a very bad decision to close it. They viewed us as young men and women, young professionals who are living in because Dallas was one of the many offices, right? It was Dallas, Houston, but then you had the Paris office, you had the Shanghai office, you had the Buenos Aires office, you had the LA office, the New York office, the office in. Funny enough, they didn't have one in Rome. They had one in Milan because of all the textiles, right, in Milan. So. A lot of people viewed it as, oh, these guys are just on vacation. They're playing golf. Yeah, we were playing golf, but we were playing golf with the CEO of HEB, or we were playing golf with, it's getting business development done, because that's what ProMexico was. ProMexico was the Business Development and Trade and Investment Commission of Mexico, right? So it was the EDC arm of the country. And my job was in Dallas, Texas, North Texas, and we covered Colorado, Oklahoma, and North Texas. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It was really cool to be able to bring companies from Mexico that wanted to enter the North Texas market and help them with that. Or the other aspect was creating these business agendas and taking CEOs or directors of companies from North Texas and some of these states that I mentioned to different cities in Mexico to, either they wanted to set up manufacturing over there, or they wanted to open up a satellite office, whatever it was. We were helping them. We had our liaisons. Not only did we have the offices internationally, but we also had the state offices. So we would usually coordinate with the state offices to get these showings done.
So if you can, tell us, what did you learn both at your time as a student at Monterrey Tech and your work for the government in Mexico City? What did you learn there that you've brought now to your current career?
I think, that the only thing that separates us is a river. I think that's, at the end of the day, we're all looking for the same thing. We all want the same thing. We may be culturally different. There may be some things, but at the end of the day, we're all after the same thing. We all want the same thing. And both Mexico and the U.S. thrive on the other being successful, right? So I think that's something that I learned back then. I saw it. I was able to live it, and and I see it now. And I have that same mentality. That's what people want.
Obviously, currently with the situation, we've done story after story where we quote Glenn Hamer from the Texas Association of Business, where he says the US needs a strong Mexico, North America needs a strong Mexico, and it's a shame some leaders are not picking up on that.
I think
because there's a pro-business guy to the core that's saying that's what this
I agree, and Glenn has done
state needs.
Glenn has done an amazing job at the TAB. He's a big champion for Mexico. He's a fellow Cornellian as well, so he understands what needs to happen in order to keep the wheels turning. And like you said, if Glenn is saying that, I don't think there's anyone that can say that has the knowledge that he does on the subject. He travels to Mexico City. He travels to the independent states and Nuevo León, Tamaulipas, Chihuahua. He's traveling all over the place, and he speaks to the people. He speaks to the people here too. So if he's saying it, that's because that's what the people want.
Well, Rene, those are all the questions I had, but I think you may have some other topics you want to bring to the table.
I just think we. Here in the Valley, we're in a great position. Whatever happens with nearshoring, whether it happens now or happens within 10 years, 5 years, I think we need to remember that we're in a very unique position, geography. It's something I learned a lot when I was in tech is we had a class, geopolitics. It was just geopolitics. I had a great professor teaching that class, and it's all about the location, and we're in a prime location. We have seaport, we have landport, we have airports. We're not going to be launching to outer space and Mars coming soon, but we're very close to Mexico, to the manufacturing in Mexico. We have great schools. We have great higher education platforms. If we bring all the puzzle pieces together, this region is going to be the place to be in the coming years. And I think a lot of us, including me, I was always saying, I'm leaving as soon as I can and I'm never coming back. I came back, I love it, now I don't see myself living anywhere else. I love this place, I love my kids going to school here, and we always think the grass is always greener, but we need to look at our grass, and our palm trees are pretty cool too.
Well, Rene, thank you so much. As always, we've learned a lot, and yes, we'll get you back long before you've made it to the top, which I know is not far away.
I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me and thinking of me.